Okay, hello everybody. I am the president of the Infinity Math Club here at the Northeast campus at TCC. Today with me I have our club advisor and professor of math at TCC, Dr. Basanti Sharma Poudyal. I'll call her Professor P. Today, throughout the week I've at random gathered some student submissions about their math experiences here at TCC. I've organized their submissions in terms of questions, grievances, and compliments, all with the intent of reviewing them here with Professor P. For fun, each student was also given an opportunity to guess how many of these Walmart gems were in this jar right here. Some people have some questions about the jar. If you don't see it, there it is. And we'll answer them shortly, I promise. Each student was also given the option to be anonymous in their submission by using a fake alias for the sake of authenticity. A few people have chosen this. I don't believe it's because they wanted to do a fake name or anything. It's more like they forgot to write their name. But regardless, I'll give them a name as I present them. So as a start, I'm going to ask Professor Poudyal, or Professor P, some normal questions before we get to the student submissions. All right. So what do you teach?
I teach all math classes that we offer here at TCC, starting from like college algebra to linear algebra, differential equations, calculus sequences. Yeah. Okay.
If you could teach anything, because you can teach anything, what would your favorite class to teach be?
For now, I would say it used to be developmental math classes because I love having students who say, I hate math, who has no interest in mathematics, and I would love to show them like how math is useful in everyday life, including in their kitchen. But we don't offer developmental math classes anymore. So now my shift is in Calculus 1, which is we have different we have applications in different fields of calculus topics, such as like, biology, and we have lots of engineering students using Cal1 in engineering field and science. So that's my favorite class.
All right. Now. So an interesting about you is where you were born. Can you tell me about that?
I was born in Nepal, a small town called Poudyal, southern part of Nepal. And I was raised there, yes.
Southern part? Do you have a southern accent by any chance?
Oh, hi, ma Nepali ho.
All right, so what motivates you to teach math, and how did it follow you through your education to today?
Until middle school, I was below average student in math. And when I went to 8th grade, then I went to a math class following with my friends. Not because like I wanted to be in that class just to follow. I did not want to separate with my friends. And then the math teacher we had, new math teacher, asked everyone like, what's your grade in your previous math course? And everybody said 80, 75, 60. By the way, 60 means A. It used to be over there if you compare. So I had 35 was like C, passing grade out of 100. Then I had 37, and I said 37, and the teacher was like, Basanti, get out. Yeah, you're not eligible to be in this class because you heard other students, saying their grades pretty high. So I was almost going out of the door, and then he called me, Basanti, come here. You really have to work hard, and then you can pass the class maybe, but I'm gonna let you sit. So he let me sit in the class. And then I think from that day, I started paying attention, not because I did not like math or anything like that. Just I was not paying attention before. And then I started paying attention. And then I started becoming a good student in math and started getting good scores. And then after high school, it was a small town. There were not many people that you can find tutoring math courses. And then my dad is... he's a social worker, so he asked me to tutor students around the town without taking any money. So I started with the free tutoring service, and then I felt like I was doing pretty good. So I decided to pursue the career in teaching mathematics.
Alrighty.
Yep, it's a long story.
Okay, so we're now going to go over these student submissions of ours. Some of them are great questions. Some of them are, we'll just pass over them, but I'll mention the name because they can be pretty funny. So for our first submission, we got Francisco Benitez. His question was given after he said that there was about 225 birds in that jar. The question is, AI in math, good or bad?
Not very good, not very bad. I do use AI when I create review problems in my class for the test or for any quizzes. But I have seen sometimes, if you completely depend on AI, instead of learning as a resource, but as like depending on, getting correct answers from AI, that's not helping you to learn. And at the same time, not all of the things that comes out of AI is accurate. So yeah, it has like some good and bad.
Yeah, I know that AI can help you replace Google searches, and you can get to information pretty fast. But sometimes, if you ask it for straight answers, it's not going to give you a straight answer. All in all, I think Francisco's question was actually pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes.
The next question comes from Ibrahim Nadariva. He says that there was 120 babies in this jar, specifically babies.
Oh.
His question is, how do you get good at math? I know that pretty much anyone might have a problem with saying that they're good at math at some point. But like, at what point do you think you're good at math?
I think it's practice. Like, how you work out to gain muscles in your body, right? Same thing for your brain. You just practice, you just struggle. Your brain muscles gets stronger if you do questions wrong. So I would say practicing more, just, working hard, putting effort. And then the main thing is willingness to learn. We usually it's very normal to have students coming in like contemporary math and college algebra classes like, oh, I was never good at math. So math is not my strong suit, I would say convert that fixed mindset to growth mindset and then have willingness to learn and you'll get there.
All right.
Good at it.
Good. Okay, so our next question comes from Oscar Espinoza. What aspects of math are still up for debate? I know that in class we talked about something called the twin prime conjecture. It might not be the craziest and most amazing theorem ever, but what do you have to say about things that are unknown in math? I know there's something called a Basanti theorem, maybe?
Basanti's theorem, it's actually known because it's proven, but only very specific, like people who read specific topics in math, especially pure math, they would understand what it means. But there are many conjectures that are not proven yet. On top of my mind is twin prime conjecture. Means there are infinitely many twin primes in number system. So twin primes means two prime numbers that are differ in two, such as like 5 and 7, 11 and 13. So that's one of the conjecture that is not proven yet. Recently, though, it did have some significant contribution. So yeah, Terrant has made significant contribution to the twin prime. And the other one was I talked about Yitang Zhang. So he used to work in Subway because he did not get the job. So that was that guy. I don't think it was proved. I think it just says that they did the significant contribution. Okay, so it's not solved. It was not solved, but he did some contribution. So twin conjecture is still conjecture.
Conjecturing.
Sorry, yeah.
So basically all like the little foundation stuff you're doing is so that one day you can be like Basanti making theorems or something like that.
You got to work pretty hard in order to get to the point where you're starting asking math questions you don't know the answer to, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty much what a PhD is, if I'm not wrong.
But it's fun, isn't it? Right? It's fun. A lot of fun.
I'm pretty sure most people here at TCC, they'll be worried about that later on in university and stuff. So the next question is from Drake. He claimed that there's 112 beads in the jar, normal human language words for those things in the jar. His question is, why is there not a dedicated class for questions on math applications? For example, why we use certain equations and why certain rules and exclusions exist in them. And I don't know about Drake, but for me, I think there is a class. Actually, there's quite a lot of classes about applied math, right? Like physics, I think?
Yeah, I mean, math is applicable in many fields. Like there is math called biomath. So you have, overlapping of biology and mathematics. There is big, huge topic in economics, like math and economics. But those basic rules that we learn in here is a foundation because you need to know how do you add numbers before you started solving like application problems, right? So, like Rachel had $7 and then Charlie had $20. So how much altogether? So for that, you need to know how to add numbers first. So most of the courses that we teach here are the foundation courses. So that's what we have like rules. And especially college algebra, that you see very list of application problems. But if you take calculus courses, we solve like real life application problems and
yeah, you kind of just see it while you're doing it in a way.
Like, yeah, but there are, yes, I mean, math is everywhere. Yeah, it's applicable in
I think like in multivariable calculus, they like actually describe vector lines in space in terms of velocity and acceleration.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So like, you might not think there's an application right now, Drake, but like as you keep going, it'll start getting pretty obvious.
Right, and also within some math classes or math courses, there are courses called application of linear algebra, where there are like courses called applied linear algebra.
So they do attack it. Like these classes do exist.
They do exist, but here we have basic foundation courses. So.
And they may seem very complicated, but yes, they're still the foundation of all the rest of the sciences. Our next question here is from Jonathan Robbins. He is a fellow student of mine in Calculus 3. He has put 135 without any particular description of what it is inside the jar. And his question is, how can you buy me a new car? I'm sorry, Jonathan, but I don't think either one of us can buy you a new car. I do know that I told you we can ask any question, but not this question. It was bad. Okay. Jeff Jefferson, a person who forgot to write their name, so they're called Jeff Jefferson now, asked, what is this jar? This jar is a ragu jar. I ate spaghetti, and then I kept the jar. So Namjoon says that there are 140 particles in this jar. Very scientific of him. His question is, what is the approximate volume of the bottle? The item in the bottle, what do you call it specifically? Ask Professor P. So what do you call these things? What do you call these things?
The pebbles?
You call them pebbles? He didn't trust me when I told him that these things were called glass beads, so he wants to know what you call them.
I don't know, pebbles, torus?
As far as the approximate volume, I mean, you can find like the diameter and then the area of the circle over here, and then find the height, and then multiply them together to get the whole volume. So,
like similar to volume of cylinder.
If we were like to bust out this guy in here, yeah, you just measure it like this and like this. The dimensions for you at home, it's going to be 3.5 inches by 6.5 inches. I'll go ahead and put the solution right on screen about now. Yeah, that's what the approximate volume is. You're welcome. You're welcome, Namjoon. So, for our next question, Soyun Shretska says that there are 164 baby chokers inside the jar. very accurate. Babies just love choking on those things. As far as the question goes, how many baby chokers do you think are in the jar?
Oh, I don't know, just random number.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 78.
78? Which came first, the color orange or the fruit? I'm guessing the color. I'm guessing the color. It's not exactly scientific. Luis Santoso, he says there's 129 babies in the jar. But I'll tell you what, Luis is probably one of our best students in Calculus 3. So he probably doesn't ask this question because he needs to know it. But how to be happy?
That's a good question.
That's very philosophical. Did you
Very
know that math
philosophical.
was,
I'd say eat every day, exercise, and sleep, and then you'll be pretty happy, more than normal. How about you?
Gather the things what makes you happy. The happiness for me is different. It's a different for happiness for some other people, right?
Yeah, I mean, yours included getting a math PhD, so I mean, it's a little different.
So yeah, happiness is very much a perspective, and it's has a different definition. So just do things that makes you happy. It could be playing a guitar. It could be watching movies, or it could be sleeping.
So John Nguyen says there are 200 beans. I've been corrected. John Wynn says there are 200 beans in this jar. He comes with a question and our first transition to grievance. His question is, what is your favorite anime? And notably, John really did not like the indie web series, and now Netflix show has been Hotel. Do you watch anime by any chance? No.
So yeah, that's a question for you.
My favorite anime, I guess it would be like Macross or Robotech or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. There's a lot of good ones out there, a lot of bad ones. But the next question or grievance he has is, I wish the test questions for my calculus class were more related to the homework. Have you ever had that comment before?
Yeah. Sometimes it could be, similar questions, but when you do homework, you have your help, you have resource, and then you, instead of trying yourself, like you were likely to go and get help, versus on test, you are on your own without any help. So make sure you understand,
It's part of the studying process.
just practicing and then making sure that you understand things is different.
No remorse. No remorse.
And then there are yes, of course, there will be some questions where you'll have to think and you haven't seen the problem before. And that's where the creativity, problem solving skill comes in. So this stuff, but just trying to use to solve a problem.
Our next one is another anonymous tip.
All right.
And now it's a pure grievance. Indiana Jones says there's 150 marbles in the jar. And his grievance is that I think TCC should take better care to ensure the professor speaks passable English. I can't understand the numbers if I can't understand the professor. Now, personally, I think every single professor I had speaks perfect English. Like, their accent might be there, but like, if they told me they're from America, I wouldn't doubt it. Have you ever had anyone that you're like, or maybe a bit on your coworker side? Don't say names. Don't say names.
Are you asking me like whether I'm having problem or whether my students having problem?
Well, first of all, I'm in your class.
Yeah.
You don't have problems, okay? You might have problems over in the background or something, but outwardly, if you said you came from America, I would believe you, right? So that's how good your second language is. But I guess in a way, you also know the importance of communicating to students and making sure that they understand you. So you put a lot of effort into learning English, I bet, right?
Yeah.
So as far as TCC goes, I don't think they have any problems like this. Sorry if you didn't understand one accent more, but Indiana Jones, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, it could be accent, right? And it's very common that in educational field, and especially teaching profession and mathematics, we do have many non-native speakers. working here in US. So that's the reality. And
It's kind of cool though. You get like people from a
Yeah.
completely different continent up in
Yeah,
here
get-
talking to you, and you're like, whoa,
yeah,
they
having
know a lot more about math too than you do.
diverse experience and diversity.
But Oscar M, 64 guesses. As an item of guesses, there's 64 in this jar. Oscar M says, I hate math, says the Calculus 3 student. Like, he's been here for a lot longer than, I don't know if he hates math, really. I'd like to describe my relationship with math sometimes as a love-hate relationship. You love it because it'll take you to where you want to be, and sometimes it can be very fun to learn. You hate it because, well, sometimes you got to work very hard, and if you don't, then you suffer the consequences. I don't know if you've had a love-hate math relationship at times, but it sounds like sometimes the love has to bring you up from the hate, and you keep going.
That's actually very unusual to have a student in Cal 3 class and
Yeah.
saying I hate math. So those are usually we have for like lower level of math classes, you know, we get those type of students a lot.
So Oscar, I think you might hate math, but not enough. You don't hate it enough.
Yes, you have taken all those calculus sequences and yeah.
Okay. John Doe, another anonymous tipper, says there's 156 jingle jangles inside this jar. It doesn't jingle, I'm sorry, but jingle jangles is the word. His grievance is learning the course myself before the teacher sucks a lot. Now, this is kind of an interesting grievance because in many ways, the teacher will tell you, but they can't understand it for you, right? That's the whole point of like going home and helping you learn yourself. Like this is kind of the nature of how we teach things for maybe 1,000 years or something like that. So I'm not sure how legitimate it would be to say that it sucks a lot, more like it's a lot of work, right? And that goes back to what we said earlier.
Yeah, and then also we have different courses, modality, you know, like if you're in blended class, if you're taking blended class, then we expect students to spend their time learning and watching videos, you know, doing some coursework independently before they come to the class. So if you're enrolled in blended math classes or hybrid, then that's our expectation that you come prepared for the class.
Yeah, meet expectations next time. PB says there's 137 rocas in this jar. His grievance says that the class average was 74 and the professor talked too much on personal issues. When a dean subbed in, everyone said she was better. Well, I'm not going to say that the dean wasn't better because maybe they were. But as far as a 74, that's still passing. I'll take that.
74 is actually good. In average, very good.
The dean teaches classes?
That's a good question. I think this person said it was like an college algebra class.
And the dean?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was some.
Our dean teaches is a science background.
Maybe he thought it was a dean. Maybe his name was Dean. We'll find out next time. Raquel Trujillo. Raquel Trujillo says there are 89 things in this jar. His grievance is that in the math class I am in, contemporary mathematics, I will say I like the practice tests we have in my math lab and the physical practice. However, I'd like more of a focus on our notes, presentation as compared to doing practice in class. Sometimes it's a little confusing to jump right into our classwork without understanding. I mean, I guess that makes a sense in some ways. Like sometimes people jump into the practice problems without as much of an explanation on what's going on. But that's kind of like the teacher's preference, right? Sometimes you got to adapt yourself so that way if they are going to do practice problems, then you focus more on maybe read the slides ahead of time or something like that. I know that as far as your class goes, like you're pretty good at making it pretty transparent on what we're doing. And like you also have office hours.
I do. I mean, sometimes, yes, when we go over definitions and theorems, like when I see students looking very confused, like, you know what, it makes sense when you start going over actually, you know, how do we apply these theorems or how do we work out the problem? So it depends on what you're learning and then your instructor's teaching style.
Ashley Parks says that there are 343 marbles. They're kind of squished, but she calls them marbles. And her grievance is that having a curriculum that better reflected TSI testing is something she desires, to be able to practice on more of the problems that fit that testing. The way that she wrote it down, it makes it sound like maybe TSI is something that she wanted more preparatory materials for. Have you ever seen TSI stuff? I've personally never taken it.
We do have TSI workshops that it runs by our math center. So they will have their workshops scheduled for like fall, for long semesters and spring. Look for the schedule, look for the flyer. You can also ask the math center when they are offering TSI workshops.
So they're out there. TSI is out there. Have you ever instructed that, or is that just a test?
TSI is just a test.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
it's like a placement test.
Yes.
I think I was able to get around it somehow. I think it was maybe my SAT or something.
Yeah, whether you're like college ready or not. So you have TSI in math and English.
Okay. Liberty, who's also a staff member at the math tutoring lab just down the hallway here. She says there's 150 rocks in this jar. It's amazing how unique the people have cooked up with these, the names of these things. She comes with our first compliment. She's saying that I'm so glad to be a part of the Northeast Math Center. I started as a student who lived in the Math Center. Now I get paid to help others with math. That's a pretty good story. I like that. Our next one comes from L. Hennigan. 91 boys are in this jar. BOIS. The compliment that she brings is that I am taking Calculus 1 this semester with Professor Sutton. She is amazing the way she is calm and straightforward. Professor Sutton cares about her students. We need more like her.
Nice.
Do you know Professor Sutton?
I know, yes. Her office is next to my office.
Oh, you should tell her.
She's great. Definitely.
Mr. Doof, an anonymous tipper, but I'm pretty sure he just forgot to write his name. He was a dude who was in the math tutoring center when I talked to him. And he said there was 42 glass drops in this jar, but he brought a compliment. And the compliment was, the math lab makes it a great place to lock in for focus, you know? I don't know if you had too many students say that, but like being in the math lab sometimes is better than being at home.
Yeah, we do.
Another anonymous tipper, we'll call him Farquad. He says there's 118 glass drops in this jar. He brings a compliment. As a review of his TCC experience thus far, I took a calculus class, Calculus 1 specifically, at the Northeast TCC campus. The professor was dedicated and really trying to help the students. The facilities were also good and exceptionally cheap. I gotta say, this is probably the best type of stuff you can, like education you can get for your buck for 1,000 miles. Like you'd have to exit out of state or maybe enter Mexico to get the same prices. And even then, I don't think you'll have the same teachers or anything like that. So you're making a good decision by coming to TCC. All right. Now, that is the end of most of our student messages here, but we do have a couple people who gave a guess regardless. They abstained from giving a message. JJ said that there was 145 tings in this jar, Tings, and Reed Broadhead said that, you know what, I can't figure it out, but I think at best it's less than or equal to 2,211,657 glass beads in the jar.
Clever.
So that's all the submissions we had for a week, with a total of 22 participants. Each gave a guess for the number of gems. These are called gems, by the way. Walmart, I bought them there, and it's like in a mesh net, and on the top it just says gems. It's gems, gemstones, whatever they are. Out of the 22 different participants, a lot of them were pretty wild guesses as far as the lowest and highest estimation. The lowest estimation being 42 by our anonymous Mr. Doof. Oscar M., which the person who put their name on that number, came second to last with a guess of 64. On the other end of the spectrum, Reed Broadhead had the highest guess with the realistic 2 million plus. And the true number was 184. There's 184 of those things in that ragu jar. So that makes John John Huynh the winner in terms of guess proximity with his guess of 200. So congratulations on your jar guesstimation expertise, John. Anyways, that's all we have for this time around. Thank you for watching.